Hi, this is going to be a more in-depth look at the project and, my ramblings. So just bear with me. It's a longer video, but some people were interested in knowing more. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and switch to desktop mode so I can show you how it's working. So the first thing is it's actually running an Ubuntu instance as a container, and inside that container it runs my code. Since there are some limitations on SteamOS and it being kind of a read-only operating system out of the box. So not wanting to edit anything in the OS and also not having to risk getting my stuff wiped out after every update. This is an approach that developers take to utilize SteamDeck as a dev machine. You create an instance of another distro, and then you work in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and load that distro. Move this over here. So I'm utilizing DistroBox for that. And basically, I just launched my project. It's a Node project right now. So I am thinking of moving to Python, as there are some other libraries that I would like to utilize. But right now it's just proof of concept. And here we go. We started. As you can see, it will respond to those names listed there. This is the part of the project that basically just listens for a wake word. And it's very low power, and this part is actually offline, so it runs on the device. It's very efficient, and it will respond to those. Once it responds, it recognizes the wake word, it will hand off the process to the Google cloud services.
Hi, how can I
There you
help
go, it
you?
responded to Google. Hi there, how are you?
Hi there, I'm doing well. How about you?
See you later.
See you later.
Ooh, this screen goes asleep. I wanted to highlight in here the conversation. So far, you can see it as in text form. I have a summary so far component that basically, after our conversation gets really large, which highlights some limitations in the OpenAI implementation of GPT-3. To overcome some limitations, we basically summarize our entire conversation and store it in the summary so far. So it has the context going forward. Right now it's none because our conversation is small and it will fit into the window in its short-term memory, so to speak. But let's continue. Grasshopper,
Hi, how can I help you?
what are some of your favorite real-time strategy games?
Some of my favorite real-time strategy games are Age of Empires, Age of Mythology, StarCraft, Command and Conquer, Total War Series, and Rise of Nations.
Awesome. Which one would you recommend for a game session on a rainy Sunday afternoon?
For a game session on a rainy Sunday afternoon, I would recommend Age of Empires or Age of Mythology. Both games have engaging, immersive storylines and are great for long play sessions.
Interesting. I'm curious, why did you pick those two?
I chose Age of Empires and Age of Mythology because they offer a variety of game modes and difficulties for players of all skill levels. They also offer an expansive world to explore with plenty of quests and challenges to keep players entertained.
But why pick those over any other game on a sunny, rainy afternoon?
Age of Empires and Age of Mythology offer a unique level of immersion and strategy that makes them great choices for rainy Sunday afternoons. Additionally, their expansive worlds and quests provide a great distraction from the wet weather outside.
See you later.
Goodbye.
So I say see you later to basically have it go to sleep, so it doesn't actually respond to what I'm saying now. But if you notice, I made a mistake there. Instead of rainy Sunday afternoon, I think I said rainy sunny afternoon or something. But it's smart enough to uh, discern from the context what you're trying to say, even if you misspeak sometimes. So that's kind of neat. But we don't have to, we can talk about anything. We can talk about inside a game. We can talk about strategy. If you're stuck, we can talk about maybe suggestions on how to get unstuck. As long as it knows about the game, it will answer. But we can go further than that. We can we can even have like a almost like a text-based adventure game. So I'll kind of talk about that now. Grasshopper,
Hi, how can I help you?
let's play a role-playing game, a text-based one, similar to those ones from the early 90s PC space.
Sure, I would be happy to help you with that. What kind of role-playing game would you like to play?
Let's play where you pretend to be a Star Trek computer, and we go on missions and talk about how we overcome those missions. You can give me some suggestions on what to do based on the scenario.
Sure, I'd love to help. What kind of mission would you like to go on?
Why not just start with describing the scenario and then we'll go from there?
Let's say the mission is to explore an uncharted planet. Alright, sounds like an exciting mission. Let's get
It kind of
started.
completed it for
First,
me.
we'll need to make sure that our ship is
Sometimes it
ready for the
completes your
journey.
sentences.
We will need to make sure that we have enough fuel, food, and supplies for the journey. We also need to check that all our systems are working properly before we leave. After that, we can begin our journey to explore the uncharted planet.
Okay, now I want you to pretend to be the computer from Star Trek The Next Generation, and I am one of the officers on board.
Understood. I am the computer from Star Trek The Next Generation, and you are an officer on board. What would you like me to do?
Tell me about our ship and all its systems. Describe in detail.
Our ship is an advanced Federation starship equipped with the latest technologies. It is powered by multiple warp nacelles, which allow us to travel through space at speeds faster than light. We have multiple weapons and defensive systems to protect us in case of danger. We also have a wide range of sensors that can detect a variety of objects and energy readings. Our sensors can also be used to detect any nearby ships, planets, and other objects. We are also equipped with artificial gravity, which allows us to keep our footing while traveling through space.
Can you walk me through each system and talk to me about it in detail?
Absolutely. Let's start with our propulsion system. Our propulsion system consists of two warp nacelles that can generate a warp field to propel us through space. The warp field is generated by a series of plasma coils, which are energized by antimatter. The warp field generator can reach velocities of up to warp 9.9, allowing us to travel faster than light. We also have impulse engines that allow us to move at slower speeds for maneuvers and docking. Next, let's talk about our weapon systems. We are equipped with phasers and photon torpedoes, which can be used to take out enemy craft or disrupt their shields. We also have a powerful deflector shield system that helps protect us from incoming attacks. Finally, we have our sensor system, which can detect a variety of objects and energy readings. Our long-range sensors have a range of over 20 light-years, allowing us to detect ships, planets, and other objects that are far away. Our short-range sensors have a range of over 1 million kilometers, allowing us to detect nearby ships, planets, and other objects. Our sensor systems also have a range of analytical and imaging capabilities, allowing us to receive detailed information about whatever we detect.
See you later.
Goodbye.
So you can actually preface, templates, so to speak, or text that kind of describe a situation or the way you want it to act, and then from then on it will actually take that persona or act that way. You can have it be a Dungeons and Dragons master, dungeon master, or like have it be the narrator for a story or things like that. You can actually play games with it, and I have done that before. And you can kind of bake these into your program and have them be these experiences that you trigger with keywords. So that's an interesting scenario. The way the project is set up is basically, as I showed you, there's a wake up word, which is powered by Pico Voice Porcupine engine, and that is the offline bit. And then there's OpenAI, of course, which takes a text input and then returns a text result as the response. And then there's Google Cloud Services for both taking your speech and converting it into text, and then when the response comes back, taking that text from OpenAI and then converting it back to speech, synthesizing speech. And I went with Google Voice Services because they are the most accurate in terms of understanding your dictations and also converting it back to speech. And they sound pretty natural. So those are the APIs involved: OpenAI, Google Cloud Services, and Pico Voice. And then in between is my code that does all the gluing different pieces together. And also, I do specifically recognize some keywords and then take action on those locally instead of passing them to OpenAI. Like, for instance, if you wanted to launch a game, as I demonstrated in an earlier demo, I basically take the keyword, play a game, and then extract the game's name, and then match it in your Steam library database, and then get the game ID, and then actually run a command on the shell to launch that game. Similarly, you can hold on to that process, and then when you recognize the keywords exit game or whatever, you can take appropriate action and kill that service or a game. There are many things you can do like that. You can integrate home assistant systems, like open source projects that have an API, and then make calls to those APIs based on what OpenAI gives you even. I have run experiments where I asked OpenAI to transform my sentences based on a given API, like Home Assistant API, to transform my sentences into actual actionable commands with the proper parameters and body and all that stuff, so the Home Assistant API can understand and take action. And so you can do home automation and stuff too. But there are many things to do locally here on the Steam Deck itself. Like some people suggested, instead of typing with keyboard, you can ask it to, hey, transcribe blah, 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 and then it will actually write that out instead of you typing it on the command line using the keyboard. But yeah, the sky's the limit here. I think I'm gonna go go on exploring and doing more with it. Thank you for your interest in the project. I'll keep you guys posted. And I know this is kind of a longer video here, but I will send highlights as I uncover more features. The plan is to make this open source at some point, but there are some challenges in the way. As I said, my reliance on those APIs mean that I actually have to, sign up with those APIs, and I pay money for using them. They're not free. So even if I were to provide a service myself, I would have to front the costs for that, people running it. So I'm going to have to come up with a way where you can plug in your own, either switch to some alternative APIs where it's free and just as good, or have you guys easily be able to create API accounts and then plug in that information into the app and then go forward with that, and then that would be your personal cost. So I don't know. We'll see. Thank you.